How the heck are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. You ready for this? You ready to be spotlighted?
Oh, I think so.
You'll be good.
Yeah.
You'll be just fine. I just want to be able to, really share. I mean, if you think back in like to January, like how much stuff that you've been able to do.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of jump right to it. And I want you to think back to, I'm going to ask you some questions. I know I kind of sent some things over, but I want you to think about where you are and think about the woman who also thinks that like they're too busy, they're too behind, they're not ready to go all in. Because I know there was a place and a time where, we also kind of talked about a few of those things, right? And
Yeah.
and now you're really, like leading the charge, you know what I mean? So I want you to show people what's possible. And I even remember talking to, a few of the gals, like Dulce and whatnot. And it's like, man, Sadie's kicking ass. Like, I know, like, I don't know if you know this enough of how much of an action taker you really are and how rare it is to see somebody just take something from nothing to something so very quickly. So that is what I really want to spotlight and show people today. So the first thing that I want to ask you is I want you to paint the picture of what did life look like? What did business look like before you found me, before you found Sales Mama?
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty easy because it was almost non-existent.
I don't know about
Um,
that, but
no, so, after having my daughter, I decided I wasn't gonna go back to the mill just because of the schedule, and I just didn't want to be away from her that long. So I started looking around and I found e-commerce and I was like, "Oh, that's such a good idea. Like, let me open the Shopify store and never have to have the product. Like, I can just sell and make so much money because that's what everybody's." And so I joined this, it was like a coaching, s their, program,
Mhm.
and, I learned a lot, and it was really great for learning the e-commerce side of it. Like, I learned how to build a store and run my own ads and, like, a little bit about the pain points type of thing, like, really how to hit those and how to get people to buy stuff. But then when it came to, like, the actual, like, running the store and stuff, I kinda was I enjoyed the other stuff so much that when it came to, like, oh, I had my first product out, I had ran my ads, and that was one of the funnest thing was, like, seeing my ads out there, like, after I'd paid, and other people were telling me they saw them, and I was like, "That is the coolest thing." And, I really liked that part of it, and then I was like, "This just isn't quite right, though, like, there's just something that's not quite clicking, like, I've learned so much, but this isn't really for me." And so I started looking around, and I found you, and you kinda reached out to me, and I talked to 4 or 5 other coaches at this point, and just nothing ever clicked, and there was just something about, like, you're just, like, down to earth and just, like, chill and just upfront, about everything. And I was like, "Okay, like, I think I can do this." And, you're the way I told you about, everything that I learned, you were like, "I think you're gonna do great. Like, these people could use this kind of help. I already have thoughts in mind for you." And I was like, "That is the coolest thing that I've heard." So I was really excited to start working with you. And and then working from homeschool, I learned way more than I thought I would, like all the behind the scenes stuff and the admin tasks that it's like I knew how to do that stuff, but I didn't know how to take my skills and turn it into a business. And you really like honed that in for me. So that was really fun. And like it was almost like one-on-ones for me that whole time. And
No.
it was really great. Like the other girls were nice and I liked them all, but I was like, you guys don't have to show up. It's fine. Like I'll just take these one-on-ones.
I know it. I know it. So
Yeah.
let's talk about what you were trying to grow and kind of because you did mention like behind the scenes and like how I kind of peeled back the curtains and showed really what was behind the scenes and we kind of got into the nitty gritty. But I want you to share what was going on behind the scenes for you and then I want to talk about how you kind of upgraded from work from home school into sales mama school.
Yeah, so, yeah, behind the scenes for me, I was, I was reaching out and I was networking as much as I thought I could, and I was in a bunch of Facebook groups that were mostly bots and or like jobs over in the Philippines, and so I was doing all this work, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And so, I knew that at the work from home school, like I learned so much and I was so ready to implement it, but I just didn't really quite, like, you'd given us tools to reach out and to build networks, but it wasn't quite like, it was more of a me problem. Like, I wasn't implementing it in the way that I should, especially after the program ended. I just didn't have that, like, accountability every week, and so I was, like, going through the motions but not getting anywhere,
Yeah.
and I kept seeing your stuff, and I was like, "I just need to get back in there." So, yeah, for me, a lot of it was like, I just didn't quite believe in myself either. Like, I knew I had the skills and the talent to do this stuff, but I was like, but no one's gonna want to work with me, or like, could I really do this for a business? Like, is this sustainable? And at first I was like, this is just a means to an end. This is gonna just get me a few months down the road till I find something else. And I really that was, like, really my thought process for a long time until, like, lately I've been like, "Nope, okay, this is what I was meant to do," and it's been so much fun. So
Yeah, yeah. So talk about that kind of upgrade process because we went through work from home school and I think that was, gosh, 2 or 3 months of working together, maybe even it might have even been four.
I wanna say 3, but
Yeah, it was something like that, right? And so then you kind of took a break and then you came back to sales mama school and then we really kind of went balls to the wall with some of the things that you've been doing. But what was kind of the thought process that you went through that was like, I actually feel like I need real strategy, real support, more hands-on type of stuff.
yeah, well, it definitely, like, when I talked to some of the other girls that were in that program, they were telling me about just, how everybody's kind of there for each other, and just the feel fit from it is a lot different from than the work from home. And I like the work from home. I learned so much, but I was really missing that, like, everybody gets together and helps each other out. That just like, just having those other women to support you, and I didn't realize that at first because I was like, I'm a very independent person anyways, so I think that's why the work from home school say, "Do this, I'm teaching you this, we'll check in a couple of days," and I would do it because I could implement that on my own, and I
Yeah.
liked it, and it was good, really good learning experience. I got so much from it, and then after it was over, I'm seeing you on, like, Facebook and, like, other girls, and I'm like, "Oh, man, like, I need to get back in there, but I just don't know if I'm ready yet." And then on Mother's Day this year, I was like, "I'm doing it, I have to," like, I'm not giving it my all at this point, and I know I should. And I was just like, kept remembering, just other people saying it's just such a good support system. And from like the second I joined, I got that. And I remember one of our first meetings, like, you went over my Instagram page, and it was such like a game changer. It really was, because like you gave me input, some of the other girls gave me input, and I was like, all right, let's do this. So
I
it's
know
just,
it is very much like a community feel and it's like, hey, we're here to support one another and it's not like finger pointing like, hey, you need to change this or you need to change this. It's like, hey, I love this about your page, but if you want to up level it, like you need to do this and you need to do this because we all want to see each other win and we're going to compliment each other, but we're also not going to sugarcoat anything because we want to see each other succeed at the highest level that we possibly
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like, I was running my Instagram. I think you told me one of the last weeks, and the work from home school was to build that, to get my brand out there. And so I was like showing my sister and my mom, and they're like, "Oh, it's great." And I'm like, "What? Thank you, but I need input. Like, I need something like, yeah." And so that first time you guys were like, "This is good. I would do this." And it was that outside perspective that I knew I needed, and it was like you guys were saying the things that I was thinking, but I couldn't see for myself, and it was just like, "Okay, this is what I needed. This is perfect. So it's honestly like I love our calls. I look forward to them all the time.
No, there is the core group because there's about 75% of the gals that make it to every single call live, and then the rest kind of like catch the replays as as they can because a lot of
Yeah.
times they have other shit going on during the days. But it's just so funny because those gals are like, I cannot miss these live calls. Like
Yeah.
these calls give me life. But kind of piggybacking off of the shifts that you have seen so far, kind of like the Instagram one, like that was that has kind of a big shift. But
Yeah.
what are other a couple other big shifts that you have noticed after joining Sales Mama School?
Like I was saying earlier, it was just going to be a means to an end, and now you know I have that feeling, and like what I really love about this whole program is that you're not just like my coach, like you have my back. And it's just such a good feeling because when I post something on my socials, like you comment or something here and there, and I'm like, yes, like, and it's just so nice to have that because it really took me from I'm just doing this for now to like this is what I'm gonna do and this is what I'm building. And it got me so excited for it. And like this month I'm my revenue goal is so close to getting reached, and it's just even more exciting. Like I'm I could have never thought I'd be here at this point, and it's just fun. I like my friend today, I went and had coffee with her this morning, and I showed her like one of my posts that I was doing, and she's like, oh, that's so cool that you get to do this. And I'm like, it is cool. like like it's just so much fun. I enjoy doing it.
Love it. And you're like out there cold calling people and like landing deals through cold calls. And it's so funny because there's people that are like, cold calling is dead. I'm like, fuck no, Sadie's out here landing deals through cold calls and making bet. Like, are you kidding me right now?
It was wild. Like I just had that idea because it was from one of our calls. And that's
Yep.
the other thing I love about them is because even though you're not talking to me, you might be talking to another girl who has a completely different business than I do.
Yep.
And I'll pick up things that like even that they're saying to each other or whatever. Like it's so nice because if you just pay attention and you listen, you learn a lot.
Mhm.
And so I got that idea from somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I had like 5 different places lined out and I'd gone to one before. So I was like, I think I'm going to start there. And that just, it went so good. It opened the door that I was like, I'm doing it. I'm calling everybody. And I have like called 10 places and like really 8 out of the 10 have been really like a good reception. And hopefully I'll work with most of them. So
Oh, and I think it's honestly, with you showing up the way that you have over these past several months and practicing your sales skills and practicing your confidence and practicing just showing up in a bigger way, I think that's a big reason why you've been able to nail these sales calls because a lot of people don't have the confidence and they don't know what to say or how to say it. And most people can't even bring themselves to dial a cold call.
yeah, it's definitely scary. Like the first time I did it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then I had to like pump myself up and I did it and really like you saying that confidence because back in January, I would have never, and I would have bombed it. It would have been terrible. Like I bombed my first sales call that I had even just a few months ago, and just showing up. But it has really been like the big, and it's not even just confidence in business; it's confidence in my life, and like I don't know, it's just been a great change, and I just, yeah, I love it.
I love
Yeah.
that. So let's brag a little bit more. What other results are you most proud of? I know we're kind of talking about like the cold calls and some of these tangible results, but what other tangible results or intangible results do you want to brag about or that you're most proud of?
Um, Yeah, definitely. So my first client that I've gotten, I really love working with her. And, at the start, I was like sending her everything that I was doing, and she was like okay in it. And then now it's kind of like she's just like, do it. I trust you. And her Instagram's building, and it's so much fun just to watch that. Like her growth is fun to watch, and it's like it's nice knowing that I'm a part of it. That's been, and even like from my first post I did from her to like the one I did today, I can see the change in that and like the growth that I've even just gotten and the skills from actually, doing the dang thing. So yeah, it's been really good.
I love that. So which part of the program do you feel like has helped the most, or maybe the program, or coaching, or the calls? What part do you feel like stands out to you the most?
Definitely the community part. Just knowing like, because we don't just talk about, business strategy. It's your struggles in your life, it's the struggles in your business, and just hearing that and seeing that from other people. And it's funny because I think the second call I was on after I joined was a money talk one, and I was like, oh God, like I know, like I gotta go. I didn't want to be in there. Everyone's like posting their money, and I'm like, zero. And everyone's like, oh, that's okay. And I'm like, well, it was really inspirational because I like it was almost embarrassing to put that zero there, but now I get to put actual numbers there, and it's amazing. And everyone was just so great about it. No one made me feel stupid. Everyone was like, you'll get there. And it's true. Like, it's happened so quick, and it just keeps getting better. And so I love that. And just like your coaching style, I mean, I think that kind of goes with the community of it all, because like I feel like you're more than a coach. Like, you tell us things and you like show us how to implement them, but it's like you lead us in a way that's not like overboard, I guess. Like, you're not like, do this and that. It's just warm and welcoming, and just the way you talk, and just tell us what to do. It's comes across in a way that like I haven't seen before, and it's really refreshing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads into my next question, I guess, because that's I've heard versions of that where people say my style is unique because I am I am direct, but I'm also kind, and sometimes I can be funny and inspirational and down to earth, but
Yeah.
it just kind of depends on the moment, right? I feel like I very much try to read the room and give people what they need in that moment, right? So
Yeah.
um
Well, you're
but
good at it, so.
well, thank you. I try. What surprised you the most, I would say, about the process of growing a business this way, which um I want to say is, without the hustle, without without all the chaos. I mean, I know that there's chaos, but I want you to build a business without the hustle, without all the bullshit, without all the things that like traditionally people would say that you need to build
Hmm.
a business.
Yeah, I think like at first I was kind of doing that. I was trying to hustle all the time, to where I was half-assing like the things I actually did in business, and half-assing like being a mom, because I was constantly thinking about both at the same time and never focusing on one. And a couple weeks in, we were talking about like scheduling time for yourself off. And I never really heard that before. I'm like, that's crazy. How am I going to do that? But I started doing it, and I started scheduling these blocks of time, even 10-15 minutes, here and there, for just working or for just like playing. And it's really made a difference. Like, I think that's where I've really gotten most of my momentum from, is just from like actually having a life and not having to worry, because I know in that hour or two that I work a day, I have a goal, and I have plans, and I have steps set aside, that like, you keep like telling us and like reiterating this to us, and it works, and it's great, because my revenue goal is almost being met, and I'm working 1 to 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I'm like, I can do this. Like, that's amazing. So yeah, it's really surprising how that hustle culture just doesn't work for most people, especially moms, I think, so
Yeah.
it's a really, really great. And my brother, he's very loving and very supportive, but he's very like kind of a hard ass. And he was asking me all these questions, and I'm telling him, and I go, but it's more than that. It's more than her coaching my business. It's her coaching like how to do this business in a way where you still have a life. And he was like, wow, okay. And so like, even hearing that from him, I was like, yeah, like I'm in the right place.
It's really funny when people start to give you those wow moments, right? Like they don't believe you until you're proof, and you
Yeah.
have the income, you have the revenue, and you have the life to go along with it, and your energy changes, right? Like people aren't walking around on
Mhm.
eggshells, like you don't feel depressed or anxious or all of the like the overwhelm. I mean, sometimes that overwhelm creeps in, but you're like, I know how to fix this. I know how.
Yeah. Exactly. And I love that we have Slack to just like anytime any little thing, is off or we get a win,
Mhm.
just like little wins, just like putting it in there. And if it's something negative that we're dealing with, it gets met with all this positivity. And so you're like, okay, like that weight's lifted, let's move on from it. And then if it's a little win, it feels like a huge win because people are just like cheering you on and it's amazing.
Yeah, celebrate that shit.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are like, post those wins, like do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Big believer that if we don't celebrate the small things, that we won't celebrate the big things. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of times we just gloss over those things. And I'm also a big believer that, God or the universe, they will give you more of the things that you are grateful for and that you're appreciative of. And if we're not showing gratitude and appreciation for the things that we have right now or the things, the little things, why would
Yeah.
anybody want to give you more if you don't appreciate what's right in front of you?
Yeah, exactly. And then that's huge too because um when I first had my daughter, I was doing gratitude lists and I felt like it helped. And then you kind of talked about journaling and stuff. So I've been slowly getting back into that. And I've been walking too and stuff, which is like always like a mood lifter for me. But in the last like week, I just feel so much better and like confident and I'm just like ready to get out there and do it all. And it's just the little stuff. It really is.
Yeah. Well, your whole energy has absolutely changed. I mean, since the moment I met you till now, I mean, it is just, I mean, like I said, we brag about you all the time. So,
Well,
but
thank
if
you.
another woman was sitting where you are, maybe a few months ago, or maybe 6 or 7 months ago, before you found me, debating whether or not she's ready for this next step, what would you say to her?
I would say if you even have that little thought of like, should I and am I ready? That means you are. Like, don't let those doubts stop you because it almost stopped me from joining the sales mama school because I was like, oh, I have these skills, like I can do this. And the more I waited, the more I was like, nope, if I don't get in there now, like I'm not gonna do it. And it like it was an investment in myself that I will always like I would do it over and over again. So if there's that little voice that says yes, don't let that bigger no voice like drown it out because it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I love that. So what's one belief that you had to let go of in order to step in to that next level?
Um, well, I don't even know if this is a belief, but one big change for me is like putting my face out there because I
Mhm.
thought behind the scenes, like when you said that in the work from home school, I was like, that is me. I don't want to be that out front salesperson. I'll be behind the scenes. I don't have to show my face. And it worked for a minute and I grew my Instagram. I was doing really good. And then it got really stagnant and you kept saying B-roll. And I'm like, I don't think I have to. I don't think that has anything to do with my business. I put it off. And then, I talked to you about it and the reasons why I didn't want to do it. And it was really, some of the girls and you were just really great about it. And then even one of the other girls took me on a call and forced me to do a live with her. And ever since then, it's been easy. Like, and not easy, but it's just like, took me out of my comfort zone, made me realize it's not a big of a deal as I thought in my head, and it's changed a lot. I think it's one of the biggest shifts that I've had mentally, at least. So it's been nice.
Do you want to share that story really quick? Because I think that is, I mean, it's just a brief story, but I think that it is pretty comical just how you were like, oh, let's schedule. And she's like, no, let's. So it's just the power of impact and the immediate action that
Yeah.
like we don't screw around. It's like we do stuff and we do it now and there's immediate results. And so I would just love for you to share like the power of the community and how we hold each other to that higher standard. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so after I talked to you about not wanting to do it and my reasoning, she's like the sweetest.
yeah.
And we had this little call and she's like, "Well, do you want to do a live with me? Because, just doing it once and it disappears, like no one will ever see it again if it goes terribly. And I was like, yeah, sure. And she goes, well, when works for you? And this was like beginning of July, I think. And I was like, oh, how about the 28th? And she's like, okay, yeah, let me check my schedule. And I'm like, all right. And she goes, what are you doing in 10 minutes? Oh, nothing. And she's like, okay, we're going live. And I was like, oh, but it worked, She made me do it in the best way possible. She didn't force me. It was just very, you know, took me under her wing and said, let's do this. It's not bad. You're going to do great. And it was fun. We had a good time. It was a little chaotic, but it really changed my whole thought process on everything. Like I had those knots in my stomach, even thinking about recording B-roll of anything myself. And then I was like, nope, it's not that big of a deal. And it really helped. She yeah, it was fun. It was a good experience.
It's so much easier and more fun when you are able to do it with others who have similar goals, similar mindsets. They're also scared and doing it anyways. And we're just being vulnerable and honest about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll have kids or animals or some chaotic something going on in the background, and we're just showing up and doing it anyways. And we're not letting our excuses keep us stuck in the same place day after day after day.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it because I see that in every group call that we have, someone will have an excuse, and you're like, no, you're like, stop that. You just the way you call us out, or just we call each other out too. It's just fun. It's nice to have that. Like we all can joke and laugh, and but so we're still serious about our businesses, and we're still like getting out there and doing what we need to do. So it's really fun. I've had a good time
We
in the
laugh,
community.
cry, and we definitely call each other out.
Yes, yeah.
Oh man. All right. So to wrap this up, what does success look like and feel like for you now?
It, I started this whole thing because of my daughter, and yeah, I wanted to spend time with her, and I'm getting to do that, and it's the best feeling in the world. And so definitely just keeping able to be there for her, keeping present with her, and I've said this a few times. I need a new car, and I know it's closer and closer every day. The more I put work into it, when I buy my 2025 Forerunner, I'll send you a picture. You'll be like one of the first to know.
I'm flying out. We're gonna go for a ride. I don't know what
Right?
you're
Yeah,
talking
maybe I'll
about.
drive down to you. Like we'll go, we'll go on a road
Yeah,
trip.
that's right. You're not even that far away. Like you can
Yeah.
come down, pick me up. Let's go for a ride.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, just that like knowing the things that I need and the things that I want are not far away if I just keep putting this effort and keep showing up, and that's huge because I wouldn't have had it if I would have went any other way. And I truly believe that if I wouldn't have found, your program, I don't think I would be anywhere close to where I am because you're not just a coach. You network with me and you like share all of us. Like you're behind us 100% and it's nice to see. So,
I want to scream you guys from the mountaintops. So
yeah, we'll scream you right back. So,
I love it. Well, thank you for being here today, and thank you for sharing your experience and being open and honest. And I love it. And I want those listening to know that this isn't, it's not just about business wins. It's life, it's family, it's
mhm.
living out your dreams and following through with them. It's reclaiming your life, it's reclaiming leadership, it's really stepping into that next level vision of yourself and living a life of freedom on your own terms. And Sadie, I really do think that you're proof of that when you stop playing small, and that when you stop letting those beliefs or those thoughts keep you stuck and living that life pattern on repeat,
Mhm.
that when you do say yes to yourself and you do get that strategic support, that you can rise up and that you can do these things.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because where I was at before, it was a really good job. We're a mill town. I worked at the mill. My dad and my brother worked at the mill. And of those days, it's good money. Like, don't get me wrong, but I was not happy. And during shutdown season, you'll work 60 days of 12-hour days in a row and you will not get time off. And it just, I knew I couldn't do it. So, that was my first step. I feel like you were my second step, and it's just like shot up from there. And it's just been great because now, I know I'm gonna make that money again to that scale, maybe even past it. I know that for a fact, and I'm working way less and I get to spend all day, every day with my daughter. So, I couldn't ask for better.
Yep. I love that. And if anybody is interested in connecting with Sadie, we'll go ahead and put all of her contact information in here. So I'm sure she'd love to connect with anybody who is interested in learning more about her experience or interested in working with her directly with her services. And thank you again, Sadie, for being here. And I will also put all the information on Sales Mama School, or for anybody looking to work with me in a one-on-one capacity. I do have limited availability for that, but mostly Sales Mama School. So thank you, Sadie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you.